Unmasking Cicada 1, a deep dive into the internet's most profound unsolved mystery. Chapter 1, The Call in the Digital Wilderness. On January 4th, 2012, the digital landscape was a different place. The internet, while vast, still had pockets of wilderness, unmanicured, chaotic, and unpredictable. No place was more emblematic of this wild frontier than 4chan's B-board, an anonymous image board known for its volatile mix of nihilistic humor, shocking content, and fleeting, brilliant creativity. It was a place where nothing was taken seriously, and everything was ephemeral. It was therefore the last place one would expect to find the beginning of a decade-long intellectual odyssey. Yet it was there that a stark, unassuming image appeared. Against a plain black background, white text delivered a message that was entirely out of place in its surroundings. It was devoid of irony or memes. It was a formal, almost academic declaration. Hello, we are looking for highly intelligent individuals. To find them, we have devised a test. There is a message hidden in this image. Find it, and it will lead you on the road to finding us. We look forward to meeting the few that will make it all the way through. It was signed simply 3301. The initial reaction was predictable skepticism. On Slart B, everything was a prank, a troll, or a hoax and gay fabrication. But this felt different. A small but curious cohort of cryptographers, programmers, and puzzle enthusiasts decided to engage. They saved the simple JPG file and began to pick it apart, unknowingly taking the first step into what would become Cicada 3301, the most complex and enigmatic puzzle the internet has ever known. This was not a game, it was a recruitment process, a global scavenger hunt designed to filter the entire world's population for a very specific type of mind. Chapter 2, The 2012 Rabbit Hole, a cascade of cryptography. The puzzle's genius lay in its layered complexity, with each solution serving only as the key to the next, more difficult lock. The journey was a masterclass in the history and practice of cryptography. Step 1, the hidden text steganography. The first clue was a classic lesson in steganography, the art of hiding a message within another, seemingly innocuous file. While the image looked plain, its data was not. Experienced users opened the JPG file using a simple text editor like Notepad. Amidst the gibberish of image data, a legible string of text was found appended at the end. Tiberivs Klavdiv Caesar says. This seemingly simple phrase was the key. Step 2, the ancient cipher. Tiberius Claudius Caesar was a Roman emperor. This historical reference pointed directly to one of the oldest forms of encryption, the Caesar cipher. In this simple substitution cipher, each letter in the plain text is shifted a certain number of places down the alphabet. The clue, Tiberius Claudius, indicated a shift of 4 letters, as he was the 4th emperor of the Julio-Claudian dynasty. Applying this shift to the URL found hidden in the image's metadata revealed the next clue. This multi-step process, finding a hidden string, interpreting a historical clue, and applying a relevant cipher, set the tone for the entire ordeal. Step 3, the duck and the decoy. The decoded URL led to an image of a duck. The accompanying text read, "Whoops, just decoys this way. Looks like you can't guess how to get the message out." This was a brilliant piece of misdirection and a technical test. The message implied that the solver had to extract information from the duck image itself. This led them to a powerful steganographic tool called outguess. Using outguess on the duck image with a specific key phrase unlocked the next piece of the puzzle, a URL to a bulletin board on Reddit. This step was crucial. It filtered out those who only knew basic techniques, demanding proficiency with specific forensic software. Step 4, the labyrinth of books and numbers. The Reddit posts were filled with cryptic lines of text and a series of numbers, paired with references to ancient Welsh mythology from the epic poem The Mabinogion. The numbers were codes corresponding to a book cipher, a method where numbers refer to specific words on specific pages and lines of a given text. Solvers had to use the provided texts as keys to decipher the messages. This phase also introduced Mayan numerals, which translated into a US phone number based in Texas. When called, an answering machine played a message. "Very good. You have done well. There are 3 prime numbers associated with the original final.jp image. 3301 is one of them. You will have to find the other 2. Multiply all 3 of these numbers together and add a .com to find the next step. Good luck. Goodbye. This sent solvers scrambling back to the very first image file. They had to find 2 more prime numbers hidden within its data. The dimensions of the image were 509 pixels wide by 503 pixels high, both prime numbers. Multiplying 301, 509, and 503 yielded a massive number. Appending .com to this product revealed the URL for the final stage of the first puzzle. Step 5, the first onion. The website was the first introduction to the puzzle's ideological core. Hosted as a hidden service on the Tor network, ensuring anonymity for both the hosts and visitors, it featured a single image of a cicada. A countdown timer ticked down ominously. When the timer hit 0, the page revealed a list of 14 GPS coordinates scattered across the globe. The puzzle had just broken through the digital barrier and entered the physical world. Chapter 3: The Global Hunt and the Second Puzzle. The appearance of physical coordinates transformed the puzzle from a solitary, intellectual exercise into a frantic, real-world race. The coordinates pointed to lampposts and telephone poles in cities like Warsaw, Paris, Seoul, Sydney, and Miami. Collaborating in real time through IRC channels and forums, solvers near these locations rushed to the sites. What they found were posters, each bearing the Cicada logo and a QR code. These codes led back to the Tor network, revealing more literary clues and further digital puzzles. This phase was a test of not only intelligence, but also speed, resources, and the ability to self-organize into a global network. Many solvers arrived minutes too late, finding only a blank pole where a poster had been. Only the first few to complete all the steps, both digital and physical, were granted access to the final private server. There, they received a personal email from Cicada 3301. The message was congratulatory but stern, criticizing those who had collaborated in large groups. Cicada wanted individuals who could solve the puzzle themselves, not just follow a crowd. The first round concluded, and the chosen few were brought into the fold. Exactly 1 year later, on January 4th, 2013, a new puzzle began. This time, the image was posted to a Twitter account linked in the previous year's puzzle. The 2013 challenge was even more esoteric. It involved an audio file of a Bach composition which, when analyzed via spectrogram, revealed hidden data. It required knowledge of the Anglo-Saxon Futhorc runic alphabet and a deep dive into the writings of the occultist Aleister Crowley. The path was different, the techniques more obscure, but the pattern was the same. A multi-layered cryptographic gauntlet designed to find a very specific type of intellect. Again, a small number of solvers made it through to a private forum where they joined the recruits from the first year. Chapter 4: The Liber Primus, the Unsolvable Book. In 2014, Cicada released its magnum opus. Instead of a linear path of puzzles, the third installment led to a single profoundly complex artifact, the Liber Primus, or First Book, in Latin. It was a 58-page manuscript, written entirely in a custom runic alphabet. This was not a simple substitution cipher. It was an entire cryptographic and philosophical system. The global community of solvers, now organized and experienced, threw themselves at the text. Over the years, they have made remarkable progress, successfully translating about 19 pages. The process was painstaking, requiring the reverse engineering of multiple encryption techniques. The creators used a modified Vigenator cipher, an atbash-like substitution method, and a custom form of numerology they called Gematria Primus, which assigned numerical values to their runes for mathematical manipulation using modulo 29 arithmetic. The translated pages are not a simple message, but a dense philosophical treatise. They read like a manifesto for a mysterious school of thought, outlining a path to enlightenment and self-mastery. The text speaks of an intelligence within the fabric of reality, referring to the mind as an instar and urging the reader to achieve self-divinity through intellectual and spiritual discipline. It is a guide to deconstructing one's own perception of reality and rebuilding it on a foundation of pure logic and truth. Despite years of intense effort by some of the world's most talented amateur and professional cryptanalysts, the majority of the Liber Primus remains undeciphered. Pages like 56 and 57 are notoriously difficult, with some believing they contain a final cryptographic key or a transformative algorithm that will unlock the rest of the book. The Liber Primus is the puzzle's final, unconquered frontier, a testament to the staggering intellect of its creators. Chapter 5. Inside the Circle, the winners and their mission. So who were the few who made it all the way through, and what did they find? The inner circle of Cicada 3301 remains highly secretive, but a few early members, like Marcus Warner and Joel Eriksson, have spoken about their experiences. Their accounts paint a consistent picture. Cicada was not a game, an ARG, alternate reality game, or a marketing stunt. It was a genuine recruitment drive by an anonymous international group, a modern-day think tank or philosophical order. Their core values were those of the original cypherpunk movement, a fierce dedication to individual privacy, online anonymity, freedom of information, and the rejection of censorship. New members were welcomed into a private forum on the dark web and were vetted for their ideological alignment. They were not given a prize or a simple congratulations. They were given a mission. The group's primary goal was the creation of revolutionary software that would advance their ideals. Warner described being tasked to work on a project called Cakes, a sophisticated piece of software designed to publish sensitive information online with absolute anonymity and resilience, acting as a kind of dead man switch for whistleblowers. However, the project faltered. The recruits were brilliant puzzle solvers, but not necessarily cohesive software developers. With only minimal guidance from the anonymous 3301 administrators, motivation waned, and the group's momentum slowly dissipated. The communication from Cicada became less frequent, and eventually the private servers went quiet. Chapter 6. The Great Silence and the Enduring Legacy. After the Liber Primus was released in 2014, the annual January puzzles ceased. 2015 passed with silence. In early 2016, a single new clue appeared, authenticated with the official Cicada PGP cryptographic signature, 7A35990F, briefly reviving hopes, but it led nowhere conclusive. Then, in April 2017, the last verified message from Cicada 3301 appeared. It was not a puzzle, but a warning. Beware false paths. Always verify PGP signature from 7A35990F. It was a final act of stewardship, an attempt to protect the community from the many imposters and hoaxers who had begun to use the Cicada name. Since that day, there has been no official communication. The creators vanished as mysteriously as they had appeared. The silence has left a void filled with speculation. Was it a government agency like the CIA or NSA? This theory is widely dismissed due to the stark ideological mismatch. Cicada's cypherpunk values are fundamentally opposed to state surveillance. Was it an elaborate marketing campaign? After more than a decade with no product or brand reveal, this is virtually impossible. The most credible theory remains that Cicada 3301 was exactly what it claimed to be, a decentralized, anonymous collective of thinkers, cryptographers, and activists seeking to recruit like-minded individuals to build tools for a freer internet. They may have succeeded in their recruitment, but failed in their subsequent projects. Or perhaps their work simply went to a deeper, more secret level. Regardless of its origins or fate, the legacy of Cicada 3301 is undeniable. It inspired thousands to learn about cryptography, steganography, and online security. It influenced a wave of institutional puzzle challenges from agencies like GCHQ and the NSA, who recognized the power of using hard problems as a recruitment tool. More importantly, it created an enduring modern myth, a testament to the idea that the internet can still hold profound mystery, genuine adventure, and intellectual challenges of the highest order. The puzzle is not over, because the Liber Primus is not finished. The book remains open, its final pages waiting for someone with the key. The cicada is silent, but its call still echoes.